Hey TreMelvin, my name is Ashley and this is my video submission to your competition, and I'm going to tell you a story about my ex. Before I get started, I just want to thank you and slugbooks.com for putting on this competition. I think it's amazing that you're going to reward 5 of your listeners with $1,000 apiece depending on how you like their stories. And I must warn you, you hear that? Right on cue. My daughter is in the background. I have been trying to record this video for days now, and I'm a perfectionist. It's not coming out right, but I'm just gonna have to record this session with my daughter here. You know, this is the quietest I can get her, and we're just gonna roll with it. Hopefully it turns out well. So of course I hope that I'm one of the contenders that get the $1,000, but I feel like I have such a telling story that I just really hope that someone gets something out of it and learn. So here we go. Me and my ex, we met back in 2008, 2009. We were in our early teens, late teens, early 20s. And I'm going to call him Don because I absolutely hate his name. I hate hearing it and I hate saying it. He has a very common name. But moving on. So Don and I met at a retail store that we worked at when we were in our late teens, early 20s. We dated on and off for 4 or 5 years. There was something really wrong with our relationship. There was something really wrong with Don, and there was something really wrong with me for staying in something that I knew that was a tragedy. But this is how I got out. Unfortunately, I got out at the toughest time during the relationship, at the worst time I would say, at the latest time that I possibly could. But I didn't know any better. I was young. So this is 2014 and we're moving into our first apartment together, and this is the end of July. We moved in on rocky terms, but I decided to try to make it work anyway, largely because I was afraid to be by myself financially, and just the thought of being alone. Like, I lived at home for the longest of times. Like, I didn't want that. So although all signs pointed to no, we moved in with one another. It started off okay, but it didn't take long at all for things to turn for the worse. In fact, by the end of September, we were beefed out, and I was just so done with the relationship. I knew that once the lease was over that I would not look back to this guy. I was just done. And the only thing that was keeping us together was a financial obligation to the apartment. But anyhow, I was living my life. I lived with him as a roommate around this time. I wasn't really talking to him. I was cordial. And I was hanging out with my friends, living a life, going to sports games here in Detroit, Michigan, like the Lions games, the Tigers games, doing brunch downtown, hanging out by the waterfront, just having a great time living my life. And he saw that and he didn't like it because he wasn't able to live the life that I was. There was a couple of reasons why. When we moved into this apartment, primarily, this is the reason. When we moved into this apartment, he lied about his finances. He said, I could take care of my half of everything. And that was the deal, to split everything in half. He said, I will be okay to take care of my half of everything. I said, are you sure? Every time I tried to talk about finances, expectations, what have you, with us moving into an apartment together, he would argue with me. He would find a reason to fight. So we moved into this apartment. He was financially strapped. I wasn't. I was having a great time. I don't like you. I'm not paying for any of your tickets to anywhere. So, live with it. So he's jealous and frustrated. And the first thing that he did was, I'm not going to pay my half of the utilities. So he tried to financially strap me. But he doesn't know how much I make. So, needless to say, I wasn't. When he saw that didn't work, that's when he tried to get physically abusive towards me. One moment, please. Hi, honey. I know you're having a great time, but just play with this one. It's more quiet. Anywho, so he saw that he couldn't financially strap me in that matter, so he tried to get physically abusive. Now, I know that there's a lot of rumors and people joke about Detroit women, Judge Mathis and everything, talking about how they fight back. And that's me. Like, he tried to fight me. And no, it wasn't going down that way. I really protected myself, and I'm not proud of what I had to do, but I will say that someone that brings you to that level is not good for you. And I know that now. I would never, ever, ever oblige somebody with a fight. I'm too grown for that. But anywho, so that's what he tried to do. And so mind you, this is all occurring in the September, October. The end of October, I found out that I'm pregnant. When I became pregnant, I became vulnerable because I was scared and I didn't know what I was going to do. My relationship wasn't working out. I was too young. I feel like I was too young to have this responsibility. I never wanted kids, And I knew I would end up by myself. I didn't want to have a baby by this guy that I couldn't get along with. So I tried my best to make it work. I tried my best to set it up so we would be friends, so we could get ready for this co-parenting. I didn't grow up with my dad, and I know the importance of a child having their father, and that's all I wanted for my daughter. But it didn't work out that way. He took that vulnerability, he took that trying to work it out for our daughter as a sign of weakness, and that's when he really started to become a jerk to me. I just remember being very sick during my first trimester. I had a lot of nausea, and then also I was pregnant during the winter months, so I actually caught a cold. And when you're pregnant, you can't take anything to relieve any cold symptoms that you may have. So I would just come home from work every single day, laying on the couch. I was very sick. I was very tired. And this is when he took it upon himself to be the meanest to me. He would fight me. I mean, I just remember he would really try to fight me, and I was on the couch just sick, defenseless. But this is when he tried to really show his power over me. I mean, one time he tried to body slam me. Like, he knew I was pregnant and everything. He tried to pick me up and slam me while I was pregnant in my first trimester. And if you don't know, the first trimester, you're more susceptible to losing your baby. He was crazy. It was so uncomfortable for me that I started to place knives strategically in my apartment. For in case he did try to go all the way and attack me, I would have something somewhere that I can grab and get him off of me really quick just to defend myself. I know people ask, why did you stay in this apartment? I was financially strapped. I didn't have no place to go. I'm now saving for a baby. I'm trying to think about where I'm going to go next as far as living arrangements with me and my child. So I just need to stick it out in the apartment while I could think of stuff. And plus, I was too sick to even try to move or get anything done. So that's what I dealt with. So I was sad. I was very sad that because I felt like I needed him at one point when I was pregnant. And he just totally abandoned me during my pregnancy. And so I did a lot of crying. I was just frustrated a lot. I was stressed a lot. And my mom, she was my guardian angel during that time, because it was like, listen, don't stress. Right now, the most important thing is this baby. I would say it was my mom, and also learning that I was having a baby girl that got my act together. I stopped doing the whole woe is me and feeling like the weakling. Like, that's not me and my personality. It was just what I was going through. So after I got over it, I started to make moves, big moves. So, for example, he used to tease me and say, you know, he's not going to be there to take care of us or help us, and that I'm going to have to move in with my mother, and you're going to be broke, you're going to be a welfare mama. He just and this brought him joy. And like, I'm having his daughter. Like, this is his kid that I'm having. It's not somebody's random kid. But, you know, that's how sick he was in the head. But, I started to believe that about myself, but then I just got over it. And I'm like, I'm not listening to you, because the fact that you're talking about your daughter in this way shows me that there's something wrong with you. And the fact that I let you get to me, there was something wrong with me at one point. Maybe I didn't love myself, so be it. I don't know what it was, but I know better now. And I'm not a welfare mother. I work at a really great job. I was able to buy a house. I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. It's a great starter house for me and my daughter. And I plan on doing something more to earn more money so I can get greater things and do things that I've always wanted to do, but I was too afraid to, because I had people like him in my corner saying that I couldn't do it. And this is where I got my clarification from, because as I drifted away from him, I was no longer stagnant like I was in that relationship. I was no longer sad, and I was no longer just living by the wayside and just not living at all, basically. I started to make moves, and I'm very proud of, and that people see, and that they're very proud of me. And now I'm like, I can do anything that I want to, because I believe in myself. The way that he treated me is the way that he thinks of himself, the way that he treats himself, and also the treatment that he's received from his family. I don't even have to hate him. I don't even have to wish ill on him. I don't even have to go and retaliate for the things that he's done to me and the abusive ways that he's been, like the abusiveness that he put on me. I don't even have to go take him to court for the money that he owes me, because everything that he deserves, he's getting now. He's been getting. And this is the biggest message for anyone that loves too hard like I did. You're probably dating a loser. And when it all comes clear, and when it all becomes clear, you will realize that you are allowing a loser to run your life, to determine your happiness, and it's amazing how much you can do without them. So I don't care how old you are, I don't care if you don't want to be alone, I don't care what excuse you give me. There's nothing that you can say to justify the unhappiness that you may be feeling, the abuse that you may be taking. There's nothing to justify that, because you can do bad all by yourself. Like, I don't need you to fail. I don't need you to suck. I don't need you to not be able to pay a DTE bill. But if you're not here to uplift me and to help me and to just be a team together to make our empire, to make our brand amazing, that I don't need you at all. And that spoke volumes to me, that when he left, I was able to do amazing things. But when he was here, I was stagnant and I was sad. And I didn't love myself. But now that's not the case. So I'm a single mother to a very beautiful daughter, Marley. That's what I named her. And it's a challenge being a single mother, but I needed her to move on. I needed her to get the strength and the motivation to kick stuff off and get going. So I'm going to show you my little daughter that did it all for me. I only have her to thank. Come here, Marley. Let go of all this stuff, my beautiful little daughter. Okay. This is my little Princess Marley. Say hi. Don't look like that. Are you going to smile for Mommy? No. Anyway, this is the little one that made me change my life and made me want to do better. You are the one. And I have a lot more to accomplish, and I have a lot more to come. So just stay tuned. Say bye, Marley, and thank you for listening to my mommy's story. No? Okay. Peace out, Trey, and I'll hear from you later. Hopefully that you won. Yay. Bye-bye.